So we've started with our painting. We've gotten to the point where we have a wash of a sky. Now I'm going to go in and I'm just going to lightly, with my pencil, kind of outline different shapes that will be the foreground of my painting. I'm going to pay particular attention to the palm trees. I'm going to create stems, and then I'm going to go in and I'm going to outline just gently, easily, without thinking too much about it, the silhouette of palm fronds. Just a zigzag line, nice and easy, not spending too much time doing that. Okay, I've mixed up some puddles. This puddle here, I've got some indigo with a little bit of quinacridone rust. This puddle here, I have some Hooker's green with a little quinacridone rust. I'm going to start with just some water on my brush. I'm going to gently, with the smallest round brush I have, fill in just some of the area of the palm tree here and just create a little bit of wetness in there. Let the water absorb into the watercolor paper. I'm going to go into some of my color here, even use a little bit of green. Now watch this. Yeah. See how it just fills in that area? It's a nice dark color. I'm going to use a little bit of that color that I made up with the indigo. Hit it too. Bring it down. Bring it across. Okay, now I'm going to make the fronds. I'm going to take my brush, I'm going to run it into a puddle, then I'm also going to twist it like this to create as sharp a point as I possibly can on the brush. I'm going to take my brush and just gently use the tip down, 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 down to create that. You see? Nice and easy. There does have to be a certain amount of speed that goes on here because you have wet the area. Can make it darker in spots. You see how I did that? Now, let's work on a little larger area, like this big rock up here. I'm going to take my brush. I'm going to think about maybe making a little bit of a puddle of the quinacridone rust, since I want to keep this rock to be kind of in the browns and the greens. I'm not going to worry too much about how much color is on my brush when I start. I'm just going to take my brush and wet the entire area. I've made this shape and I'm going to use the entire shape. I'm going to create interest in that shape by using several colors and let them bleed together. Let me take my quinacridone rust. I'm thinking about the way the light would hit across something like this at sunset, how it would be darker at the bottom, lighter at the top. I'm going to use my method of wet on wet to kind of just move around here, add maybe a little bit of a darker green down towards the bottom. Now let's talk about how long you could work on a wet on wet area. Right now, I'm going to take my finger, I'm going to put it here on it, and you see that? That's a puddle that says to me that area is still wet enough to work. That area is still wet enough to work. I could keep on adding color to it. Maybe I want to make it a little bit darker down at the bottom. I can do that. Maybe I want to create some idea of texture inside of that. I could do that still because that section is still wet enough to continue working. Now let's talk about how the shimmer of that wet area is starting to recede, and now you're in that in-between state that you might start making watermarks. Let's look at it again. Still I'm able to actually work on it a little. Do you see how it's starting to pucker less? And you see how when I move it around, it's not moving as much. That's letting me know that I have only a brief moment in time left to do anything with this part, this section. Once I start working on this section and it's too dry, I'm going to create watermarks. See how now I'm putting my finger in this and I'm getting very little puddling. If I was to take my brush and put it over that section, I would definitely create a watermark. And now, let's just do another darker, the darkest dark right in the foreground. maybe a little bit of cobalt blue to give it that lava-y rock, kind of that dark rock, and then the indigo, a little bit of brown to really make it dark. If there's some place that you want to make darker after you finish your painting, you can go in, and once it is fully dry, you can then add even more dark. So there you have it, folks, your very own little watercolor. You too can do this. Just remember to practice. Don't get upset when it doesn't work out your way, and just keep on going. As we say in Hawaii, a hui ho, until we meet again.